Okay, so our topic is open security intelligence. What open security intelligence does is it uses the tools available online and the data that is being stored in the cloud in the database and it accesses that and analyzes that and takes out useful information from that. For example, if there is some person who we think is a criminal and is doing some illegal activity in US. So what are we going to do is we are going to look at his profiles, like his name. We start from there and we search for his name on various tools, his criminal records. For example, because whenever a person is part of a country, there is some national ID or organization that she might be part of. So what we do is we search for their names online using some tools, or for example we are looking for an organization like ISIS, or we are trying to protect our organization, like if we are working at Tesla, then what are we going to do is we are going to use these tools, and we are going to analyze this information according to our needs. So the first one is the attack on an organization. So for the attack on organization, we have some tools that have been listed below, like Shodan, RustScan, Nmap, Harvester, ReconNG, Nikto, Filezilla, Maltego. So these are all the tools that we have also used for attacking an organization. Intel, as you might know, Intel is a very famous organization, and we have analyzed the data and written our results. So first of all, what we did was we identified the companies that have bug bounty programs, so that we might not be going beyond our legal clearance. So what we did was we identified those companies. Out of those, we chose Intel because Tesla has already been done in the examples given in the information links. So for Intel, we found subdomains and IPs using Nmap, ping and Nmap. Uh, Next, we try to search these domains. So when we search the yourjob.intel.com, we found that we don't have the permission, that there might be some password or login restrictions. So it is not readily available on Google. So we were intrigued. And so we started using our tools on this subdomain. So then we ran a Rust scan. So Rust scan provides us many like ports that might be available or not. So as you can see, we used Nmap and Rust scan for this, and we found that there are two ports. The one is the 80 TCP one, and there was another, but it was a filtered port. It's not available in the screenshot, but it's there. So there are two ports, one the 80 TCP and another for filtered port. So next what we did is we tried to connect to the IP, and we use Nmap to connect to the IP. But not much information. We didn't find much information. We found these TCP open ports. Next, we try the Google hacking database to find we use Untitled URL file type, so that we could find some PDF at this site called intel.com. We also use the series commands index of Untitled URL file type at yourjob.intel.com as well. But when we try to open these links, we were not allowed to access them. So next we went to Shodan to find some IPs that we might be able to access, because whenever we were trying to access yourjob.com anywhere, we found that we hit a roadblock. So instead we changed our research a little bit, and we tried to find the ports and like IPs that are actually available in US, obviously for Intel.com, because Intel actually has a lot of connections with other organizations and in other countries like China and stuff. So we use different filters to find that and to filter out the honeypots as well. As we moved further, we found that there were like many honeypots as well. So we had to find a proper IP for this as well. Next, we went to Maldigo and we tried to again uh, use find the subdomains your job and we chose yourjob.intel.com because we at this point we were a little frustrated because we were not able to find any information on it using the other tools. We tried to use the commands mentioned in the run view tab here as well, like codes, web search, host search, but again it was like returning errors. It was not able to find anything. So we tried doing it using other IPs like 3091, 9574. So we tried a number of methods, and because we mentioned our like chosen domain as yourjob.intel.com, so we have provided a screenshot for that. Next, we use Filezilla. This tool wasn't mentioned in the links, the scan, but my partner, Kreetha, is actually really good at this stuff. So he introduced me to Filezilla, and we proceeded. We copied the IP address, and we proceeded with this. As you can see, we were able to find the various images, the various folders. So once we got inside these images, we were able to see the further information. But when we were trying to download it or to open those images, we weren't able to do so. So I think it's safe to say that for now, as per our knowledge and information, I think that we were not able to find any vulnerabilities. So any newbie wouldn't be able to find any vulnerabilities if they try to do so. But that doesn't mean that that should be the criteria for protection for a big organization like Intel. So maybe with time we will find some vulnerabilities, some bugs, and we'll inform them. But for now, it's safe to say that they have a good firewall and protection system. Next, we'll move on to the attack on individual sections of the open security intelligence. As we know that there are multiple spies, multiple humans, multiple criminals, and whatnot out there. And this data is used on a day-to-day basis to analyze their actions, not only in the online world but in the offline world as well. And as both are interconnected, deeply interconnected actually in today's age, so what we do is we try to find the digital footprints, analyze them using our tools, and take appropriate actions at the same time. So the various tools under this category are True People Search, Beam Verified, Spokio, People Finder, White Pages, Intellius, and I think Zaba Search we found on some Google link. Because this was also not mentioned, but I would not recommend this to anyone because it wasn't really up to the mark. So we try to search the same information, enter the names, the cities, whatever information that we knew already about them. So we entered that and we found that True People Search was actually able to filter out the things properly. The main problem that we found was that the website technology wasn't up to date. I think that was the main problem. Other than that, one more thing that it depends on the the websites that are freely available are not actually that good, but True People Search is and has an expensive subscription, so it is accurate, but we couldn't find the social media handles and the background criminal history or property records by just hitting it on the main page. We found, although we found the proper birth dates, the associates, the age, so it's able to find out the network that that person is presenting. So that's a good thing. SpokeU was a worse tool. Although we entered the same data as we entered in two people search, it was not able to find anything, which is not, which is really a bad thing for a tool whose main purpose is to do one thing, that is find the data related to that person. So here we have blackened out the name of the person that we used to attack, but yes, these are some of the contacts and some of the information that you can see that we found on True People Search. The website has been made really efficiently, and I think that amounts to a lot in this era of GUI. Yeah. Next is my partner Kreetha is actually a very accomplished hacker, so also a coder. So he has actually made this twist paper script. Do you want to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you. So I will show you a project that I developed that related to open source intelligence. So it is web-based Twitter scraper and analysis. And so I use it to prove of concept that attackers could leverage your digital footprint that you left on Twitter to attack you. Tech stack, the module that I use is Python 3 Twin. Twin is major module for scraping data from Twitter. Next is Django for web application framework. Next, Serially and Flower. It is Python module for task and queue management. Next is MongoDB for storing post, tweet, and all data. Next, the last one is D3.js and HighShot.js is for visualization. There are like main four functions. The function is like scale tweet data from user timeline. Second one is visualize data from basic analysis. The third one is download scale tweet as an Excel file. The last one is basic link analysis. This is a methodology. Enter username to scale data. Okay, check worker and task, and if success, we can analyze those data and can download the data in Excel format and link analytics. Yeah, I will demonstrate this to you. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I will show you. This is the website. I will send you in the chat. Okay. Okay. This is like we can enter the username of user that we have to scrape the data, yeah, without address. Okay, for example, I enter Snowden Twitter, yeah. Okay, and submit it. Yeah, it will show like start scraping user Snowden. So after doing that, we can check the task. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna see that there are one active task. So, okay, we check the last task that added it is Snowden. Yeah, and state is started. It means that the cloud are scraping the data from Snowden user timeline. Yeah, and so that after it show success state, and we gonna analyze his data. Assume that like we succeeded because I scraped his data before today. So now we will check at the data function. I mean like analysis function. So we can enter username. Yeah, I will enter Snowden. Submitted. Yeah, it will visualize the data as a graph and chart. The first graph is tweet rate. I mean like it is amount of tweet each day that this user tweet. So like yeah, is it can be seen that this user like still active and yeah still on Twitter. And the next chart is the tweet time period. That's like the time that this user intend to tweet the most. Actually, it is like it is US time.
It is based on US time periods.
Yeah, it's based on US time period. But so from this, actually, the time that had lower amount of tweet, I think it is the time that he sleep. Yeah, but I think it's I think he is not in the US actually because like
time zone.
Yeah, because the time zone is changed.
So we can also find out when a person is sleeping or online. So this graph and this data can be used to find that as well.
Attacker might be like rob your house at the timeline if we get the data.
So we can find the location as well by finding the time zone. We'll also be able to find his location on Earth. So that is a pretty good tool if we're talking about.
Yeah. So that this next chart is hashtag. From hashtag, we can predict that what this user interested in. Yeah.
And what are the hashtags that are actually trending on that day, and what are the topics that are trending that day?
Yeah. So that is a top URL. We can like gather information. I mean, gather more information from the URL we got. Sometimes you might see that there are like some people tweet their Instagram on tweet or their website or their blog, yeah, and so on. And this is top 10 retweet that other user retweet the retweet post of this user.
So it can be like used to analyze an organization's policy and what kind of what kind of reception it is getting, if it's positive or like if people are not reacting properly to it. So we can even analyze that using this.
Yeah. So the next function is download function. For like in Excel, I will provide more detail in I mean more detail in information. Maybe share Excel. Okay.
It's sharing the whole screen.
Okay. Excel. Okay. Yeah, this for more detail, I store data in table. Yeah, we can see that the number of tweet each day. Yeah, and this is sort by date ascending.
So we can actually apply the Excel tools as well by converting it into a file, and so that's an added option. So not only we can use the tool to analyze stuff, we can use it in our tools using Excel in Google or in Microsoft PowerPoint. Excel sheets, and use it for Python analyzation. We can also run scripts on that by running it in AI and ML tools. So that's another advantage of this tool that he has developed.
Yeah, next is like time that we show in the graph. Yeah. So next, we show you like top 10 little bit. There is like more information. Actually, in this sheet is auto with that this auto with in user's timeline. Yeah, auto with. Actually, Twitter will limit the tweet. I think is that 3,200 tweet. Yeah. So next, sort by like or sometimes. Okay, sort by reply. This is the top 10 hashtag. Oh, sorry, top 20 hashtag. Yeah, it's sort descending. Top 10 go retweet. That means like this user go go to retweet other user and they show username and amount of retweet. Yeah, for example, Snowden retweet user Greenwald tweet 84 times. Yeah, and retweet himself also as well. Yeah. So next is top 10 go reply. It means that the user reply user Matthew tweet Alex. I don't know what is it, but from this we can like predict relation between two user. I mean between Snowden and all of these user. If some user like have more the number of reply, it means that
they are for example, some users are more interested in the tweet, so that means that they are interested in your product, or maybe they are interested in your tweet, and you can use that in a productive way as a promotion or as an analysis for your product. For example, you can see that New York Times and Apple have tweeted it, have replied on it for like 18 and 15 times, which can be considered a really high number for companies like that. So that means that this tweet has actual content and real value that can be further explored and exploited by other companies as well.
Yeah. Thank you. That is a goal mention. Okay. Next, I will show you like link analysis, but it is not incomplete, but is enough to show you.
So the
like
next feature, this graphing feature, is under work, but yes, he has done his best to provide it in a proper graphical way. But as you can see, we are all under construction. So yeah, so as you can see, we have links node in with all the other users and companies and stuff, so that we can analyze it in graphical form and get to know the same data in like less amount of time, and target only those users that are like useful for us, like the people who have retweeted it for the most of the time, or people who have tweeted it the least time. So yeah, we can use that information instead.
Yeah.
Directly from here. So yeah. Okay. So here so here this is also under construction, and we are working so that users can reach out to us and present their queries in case they face any problems during using, as they were using these tools. For example, the Zaba search, when we were using Zaba search and when we were using Spokio, they were really not up to the mark. They were really not showing the proper information that we needed. So we would, just like Intel and Tesla, we would also like to have proper information from our customers so that we can make this even better. Okay, so now that's it. This was a presentation. Hope you people liked it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can you guys hear me by any chance? I'm going to take silence as a no. So therefore, I will message you things. Hopefully in the recording, you'll be able to hear me. So let me just quickly message them everything that needs to be messaged. And then I will say closing words. All right, so as a recap, this was the presentation on open source intelligence tools, also known as OSINT. And these guys did a terrific job of showcasing those. Actually, I really like the presentation. So we looked at tools such as Maltico, which allows you to make a use information about somebody to construct a graph by running modules that will lead you to further information about that person or that entity. And you can gather information that way. There's Google hacking, where you enter different keywords, such as you can look at in title for something, or you can look at specifically anything that's on a specific domain using the site keyword, so things like that. And these guys did a great job of showcasing that. There's Shodan, which I didn't even tell them to look at, but they looked at as well. There's Recon-NG. There's all sorts of open source intelligence tools out there. So that, for the most part, concludes this presentation. If anybody has questions, which there's literally nobody here except for me and the presenters. So obviously none of you have questions, but if you're watching this video afterwards and you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah,